The Galactic Empire broke the peace. A human diplomat made them regret it. The Galactic Council chamber trembled as the Imperial ultimatum echoed through the massive hall. Understood, henceforth the Treaty of Vargas is null and void. The Empire no longer recognizes the sovereignty of lesser species. Obey or be erased. Underscore. Silence followed. Dozens of alien species sat frozen, their bioluminescent skin dimming in fear, their tentacles curling inward, their fur bristling with silent despair. They knew what this meant. The Galactic Empire, the largest military power in the known universe, had just declared open dominance over the rest of the galaxy. The human delegation remained motionless. Ambassador Elias Varen sat at the negotiation table, the only one not visibly afraid. His cold blue eyes locked onto the Imperial warlord, Kelvarn of the Drekith Dominion, a towering beast clad in battle-scarred armor. The Drekith had waited years for this moment. They feared humanity's influence. Humans were the wild card of the galaxy, unpredictable, resourceful, and capable of terrifying things when pushed. The Empire's analysts had warned, do not give them an excuse. Yet here they were. Pushing. Kelvarn sneered. You look unimpressed, human. Tell me, does your species think it can resist us? Varen exhaled slowly, tilting his head as if considering the question. Then without blinking he responded. You just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. The chamber erupted into chaos. Alien leaders hissed and chattered in horror. The Drekith warriors tightened their grips on their ceremonial weapons. But Varen didn't flinch. You misunderstand, warlord, he continued, voice calm yet unyielding. Humanity doesn't fear war. We avoid it because we know what we're capable of. But now, thanks to you. He leaned forward, his next words a warning, not a threat. You've made it inevitable. For the first time, Kelvarn hesitated. Something about the human's confidence made his spines bristle. Then Varen slowly stood up. Without another word, he turned and walked away, exiting the chamber. Where are you going, human? Kelvarn barked. Varen paused only long enough to say, to inform Earth. The storm was coming. And the Galactic Empire had no idea what they had just unleashed. The struggle for survival where humanity's response unfolds. The doors to the Galactic Council chamber slammed shut behind Ambassador Elias Varen, but he never broke stride. His steps echoed through the polished obsidian corridors of the station, each one carrying the weight of what had just happened. The Empire had broken the treaty. The war was coming. The security escort assigned to him, a trio of sharp-eyed, blue-skinned Delthari guards, struggled to keep up. One of them, Ambassador Xylus, the Delthari representative, clicked her mandibles anxiously. Elias, tell me you have a plan. Varen didn't slow. I don't need a plan, Xylus. I just need to make a call. They emerged onto a private landing pad where a sleek, Earth-designed diplomatic shuttle awaited them. The moment Varen stepped inside, the AI pilot activated. Destination? Priority 1 channel to the Sol Defense Network, Varen ordered, strapping in. Authorization, Varen Theta 01. The AI's response came instantly. Channel secured. Stand by for high command. The screen flickered. Then the face of Admiral Kalen Drake appeared. He was already in uniform as if he had been expecting this call. The moment he saw Varen's face, his expression hardened. They broke it? Varen nodded. Kelvarn made the announcement himself. The Treaty of Vargas is void. They want total dominion over the Council races. The question isn't if they'll attack. It's when. Drake exhaled slowly. Behind him, the war room of Luna Command was already alive with activity. Officers moved swiftly between glowing strategy tables, processing real-time data from across the galaxy. We've been monitoring Imperial fleet movements, Drake said grimly. They've been mobilizing along the border worlds for weeks. They were just waiting for a pretext. His voice darkened. Now they have one. Varen leaned forward. Then let's not give them the first move. Drake's lips curled into a smirk. Thought you'd say that. Operation Iron Requiem is already in motion. The Council fractures. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, the fallout had already begun. Panic spread like wildfire. The weaker species, the Drenari, the Valk, even the once proud Zephyrins, scrambled to negotiate their own surrender terms with the Empire, fearing total annihilation. But others stood firm. The Council must resist, bellowed Supreme Chancellor Gorath of the Brintal Union, slamming a massive fist against the table. His species had been fighting the Empire for centuries. They knew submission was not survival, it was a slow execution. "And how do you propose we resist?" hissed Velshorak, the insectoid leader of the Vescan Dominion. "You think we can hold out against the might of the Empire?" Goritha's reptilian eyes burned with fury. "We don't need to. The humans will." Silence. The name carried weight in this room. Even among species who barely understood humanity, they knew one thing: humans do not lose wars. But that was what made this moment so terrifying. "If humanity declares war," Velshorak whispered, his mandibles twitching, "then we're about to see something the galaxy has never seen before. The Empire strikes first." The attack came faster than expected. Only 12 hours after the Council meeting, Imperial warfleets emerged from hyperspace over the planet Terrace 4, one of the key border worlds under Earth's protection. The Dreketh had planned this well. They wanted to make a statement. Admiral Vorka of the Imperial Armada issued a planet-wide broadcast before the assault began. His holographic projection loomed over the capital city of Terrace 4, his voice dripping with condescension. "People of Terrace 4, your human protectors have abandoned you. The Empire offers you a choice: surrender now and you will be spared. Resist, and be destroyed. The citizens of Terrace 4 did not surrender. Instead, the planetary defense grid activated, locking onto the first wave of Imperial dreadnoughts. The sky erupted with fire. Massive plasma lances and railgun slugs tore through the void, lighting up the night as the first Imperial ships exploded under heavy fire. But the Empire had numbers and their fleet pressed forward. The city's shields shimmered under the onslaught. Admiral Vorka grinned. "Break them." Dreketh ground troops began descending en masse, deploying from dropships like a swarm of locusts. The invasion had begun. But just as the Imperial forces prepared to land, something unexpected happened. A single Terran warship dropped out of hyperspace directly above the battlefield. It was not a fleet. Just one ship. The UNSV Retribution. A dreadnought-class war vessel, black as the void, bristling with unmarked weaponry of terrifying scale. Admiral Vorka frowned, eyes narrowing. "One ship. That's your response, humans?" Then the Retribution's broadside cannons powered up, and the Empire realized their mistake. The first retaliation. The Retribution opened fire. Not with standard plasma arrays. Not with railguns. Something else. Something the galaxy had never seen before. A single, precise shot struck the largest Imperial battleship, a vessel that should have been able to withstand an entire fleet's bombardment. It disintegrated in an instant. No explosion. No wreckage. Just nothing. Admiral Vorka's blood ran cold. What weapon was that? No answer came. The Retribution simply turned its cannons toward the next target. The Dreketh forces, so sure of their dominance, panicked. Dropships began breaking formation. Imperial captains screamed orders over the comms, trying to regroup. But the Retribution did not give them time. One by one, the Empire's warships vanished. The invasion of Terrace 4 had ended before it even began. Admiral Vorka had one last thought before his flagship was erased from existence. What have we awakened? The warning. In the Galactic Council chamber, panic turned to pure, absolute terror. The footage from Terrace 4 had spread. Every species in the galaxy had just watched an entire Imperial fleet disappear. They had watched the Retribution move with precise, clinical efficiency. No wasted shots. No hesitation. Just execution. And the humans had not even deployed a full fleet. Kelvarn of the Dreketh sat frozen in his seat, his arrogance now replaced with a sickening realization. Ambassador Varen had returned to the chamber. He looked around at the terrified faces of the council. Then, with calm, quiet authority, he spoke. The Empire wanted to see what humanity was capable of. Now they have their answer. His next words were not a threat. They were a promise. Tell them to stand down. Because the next time we retaliate, we won't stop at one planet. The message was clear. The Galactic Empire had broken the peace. Now they would learn what it meant to make an enemy of humanity. Now we move into the ultimate challenge, where the true scale of humanity's retaliation is revealed. A war unleashed. The destruction of the Imperial fleet over Terrace 4 sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Word spread faster than any official transmission, carried in whispered fear through trading hubs, military outposts, and planetary governments. The Galactic Empire, once seen as an unstoppable force, had just been shattered in a single engagement. And yet, this was only the beginning. Admiral Kalen Drake stood on the command deck of the UNSV Retribution, eyes locked on the holographic tactical display. The Imperial fleet had barely lasted 5 minutes against their experimental weapons. The true power of the exosingularity cannon had been unveiled. It was a weapon the galaxy was never supposed to see. And now humanity's secret was out. Varen's voice crackled through the comms. Kalen, they'll be coming. We forced their hand. Drake smirked. That was the plan. The Empire's response. Deep in the heart of the Dreketh Dominion, the Imperial Council convened in the war chamber. A vast, circular room carved from obsidian, lined with holographic displays of every military asset in the Empire. Emperor Kelvarn stood at the center, his claws flexing in barely contained fury. His personal fleet, one of the most powerful in the known universe, had been erased. How? He snarled, his golden eyes flickering with rage. How did they do this? Across from him, Grand Admiral Tyros, the commander of the remaining Dreketh fleets, struggled for an answer. We don't know, my Emperor. The human weapon, it doesn't behave like anything in our database. No detonation signature, no trace radiation. It simply erases mass. Even our shields were worthless. Kelvarn slammed a fist against the war table. Then we adapt. We have the largest fleet in the galaxy. If brute force won't work, then we drown them in numbers. A murmur ran through the gathered warlords. The full might of the Empire? Against a single species? But no one dared to question him. The Emperor leaned forward, eyes burning. Send the command. Every war fleet we have will converge on Sol. Silence. Even Tyros hesitated. The homeworld, my Emperor? Surely you've seen what they are capable of, Kelvarn cut him off. We must strike before they have time to retaliate. He turned to the assembled admirals. His voice was ice. Launch the extinction protocol. The warlords paled. This was no longer a battle. This was the complete eradication of the human race. And it had just been set in motion. The battle for Sol begins. Earth's defenses had been preparing for war since the moment Varen had sent the warning. Luna Base bristled with weaponry, its orbital platforms already tracking the incoming Imperial signatures. Mars shipyards worked around the clock, launching new warships into the void at an unprecedented rate. The Terran fleet stood ready. Admiral Drake knew the attack was coming. And still, when the Imperial fleet arrived in force, the sheer scale of it defied belief. Hundreds, no thousands, of warships emerged from hyperspace just beyond the Sol defense perimeter. The largest gathering of hostile firepower in recorded history. The lead Imperial dreadnought loomed over the battlefield, its shadow stretching across Earth's orbit. The Imperial fleet hailed them. This is Grand Admiral Tyros of the Dreketh Empire. Surrender your homeworld or we will reduce it to ashes. A moment of silence. Then Admiral Drake leaned forward, his voice calm. You should have brought more ships. The void ignited. The breaking point. The first engagement was catastrophic. Humanity's fleet fought like a cornered beast, its advanced weaponry tearing through the Imperial vanguard. The Retribution alone annihilated dozens of capital ships with its singularity cannon. But the Empire had numbers. For every ship destroyed, 10 more took its place. The orbital battle stretched across entire planets, spilling over into Earth's atmosphere. Dogfights raged in low orbit, while Dreketh drop pods began punching through the stratosphere, carrying millions of shock troopers to the surface. On the ground, the invasion began. Terran Marines met them with brutal resistance. Every street became a battlefield. Every building a fortress. The Dreketh had expected Earth to fall in hours. But they had vastly underestimated what it meant to fight humans on their own soil. For every human soldier killed, 5 more took their place. For every block lost, another was retaken in fire and blood. The war dragged on. And then, in the heart of the chaos, Varen sent the signal. Omega Protocol is live. The end of the Empire. No one knew where the weapon had come from. Some whispered it was a Terran Black project, hidden deep in the void. Others believed it was something older. Something no species should have ever discovered. But the truth was simple. Humanity had been preparing for this war far longer than anyone realized. Across the battlefield, black ships emerged from hidden folds in space, sleek and deadly. They did not communicate. They did not negotiate. They simply fired. The Imperial fleet began to collapse. Not from damage. From pure, impossible nothingness. Each shot from these new Terran warships did not merely destroy. It erased. One by one, Imperial warships vanished from existence, erased as if they had never been. Panic spread through the Imperial ranks. Their weapons were useless. Their shields failed. Their fleet crumbled. Admiral Tyros, once so certain of victory, could only watch as everything he commanded ceased to be. Then the final message came. Not from Varen. Not from Drake. From Earth itself. Unsure, the war is over. The Empire is over. We offered you peace. You chose extinction. The Imperial homeworld was next. As the dust settled, only one question remained. Would humanity show mercy? Or would the Empire's homeworld suffer the same fate as the fleets it had sent to destroy Earth? The war had been won. Now humanity had to decide what kind of conquerors they would be. The war was over. Now came the reckoning. The Imperial fleet was gone. The greatest armada ever assembled had been reduced to whispers in the void, its remnants fleeing to the farthest reaches of space, carrying nothing but horror back to their people. And now Earth's warships hovered over Dreketh Prime, the Imperial homeworld. On the bridge of the UNSV Retribution, Admiral Kalen Drake stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching as the planet filled the viewport, a world that had once dictated the fate of the galaxy. Now it awaited judgment. A cold silence filled the command deck. The crew knew what was coming. Humanity had won. But how they chose to end this war would define them forever. The comms officer turned, face pale. Sir, incoming hail from the Imperial Palace. Emperor Kelvarn is requesting to speak. Drake exhaled. His voice was steel. Put him through. The Empire's last words. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing Emperor Kelvarn seated on his ornate throne. But the proud, war-hardened ruler was not the same. The once golden eyes, filled with fire and arrogance, now burned with something else. Defeat. His once magnificent ceremonial armor was tarnished, battle-worn, as if he had aged centuries in mere days. But it was his voice that struck the hardest. I underestimated your people. No rage. No bravado. Just a simple acknowledgement of failure. Drake said nothing. He let the silence stretch. Kelvarn took a slow breath. I ordered the extinction of your kind. Now, it is I who stand on the precipice of annihilation. His claws flexed. But if you sought to erase us, I imagine I would not still be breathing. Drake's expression remained unreadable. The Emperor straightened. I will not beg. His voice grew firmer. But I will listen. You have won the war, human. What is it you want? The entire bridge held its breath. This was the moment. The choice. Across the battlefield, the Black Terran warships remained in perfect formation, their weapons still primed. It would take one command. One word from Drake and Dreketh Prime would cease to exist. Just like the fleets before it. The echoes of 1,000 years of war demanded it. This was justice. This was balance. But Varen's words from long ago whispered in Drake's mind. We fight monsters, Kalen. We do not become them. Drake stepped forward. His next words would decide the future of two civilizations. His voice was cold, precise. The war is over. The Empire is over. You will disband your fleets. Destroy your war engines. Return every world you have taken by force. Kelvarn's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Drake's voice hardened. You will kneel. Publicly. You will stand before the entire galaxy and proclaim that humanity broke you. That you were wrong. That your empire stands only because we allow it. For the first time, Kelvarn flinched. This was worse than death. Worse than destruction. He had been raised to believe the Dreketh Empire would rule forever. That their place as the dominant force in the galaxy was destiny. And now his people would live as a species who had once ruled, but fell. A long silence. Then, slowly, Kelvarn did what no Dreketh Emperor had ever done before. He bowed his head. So be it. The transmission cut out. A victory that changed everything. The galaxy held its breath. Word spread faster than light. The Dreketh Empire, the oldest and most powerful force in the stars, had surrendered to humanity. There was no treaty. No drawn-out negotiations. It was over. For the first time in galactic history, a new power had risen. And it was human. On Earth, people flooded the streets in celebration. The war was won. But aboard the Retribution, Drake simply watched as the Imperial ships below powered down. As the war that had threatened to consume his species came to an end. Yet even in victory he knew one truth. This was just the beginning. Humanity had just announced itself to the galaxy. And the galaxy was watching. Legendary ending. On the edges of known space, in the dark void between empires, a signal pulsed. A warning. The humans had won. And somewhere in the depths of the void, something else was listening. Something older than the Dreketh. Something that had been waiting for the right kind of enemy. And fire final thoughts. Humanity has proven itself, but a greater threat looms beyond the known galaxy. What comes next? Would love to hear your thoughts. Rocket. Fire. Humanity has won the war, but at what cost? The galaxy will never be the same. The Dreketh have fallen, but something far worse is watching from the void. High voltage. What do you think happens next? Will humanity hold its power, or has this victory drawn the attention of something beyond imagination? Backhand index pointing down. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss what comes next in this epic HFY saga. Rocket collision. Lightbulb. Love these kinds of stories? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss the next legendary HFY tale. More thrilling stories are on the way.